Hi guys, welcome to my second video here on my YouTube channel. I'm George Cloronimus, and today we're going to be playing a song by The Temptations in keeping with the theme of Motown guitar. The Temptations song My Girl. So many of you probably know this song or have heard it. It's pretty much a standard tune, particularly in the Motown repertoire. It's got to be up there in the top sort of 5 or 6 tunes that are played and I guess well loved in that particular genre. The song has, I would say, 2 distinct guitar parts. One is there's some single note lines that are being played, which we'll talk about. There's also some chords and rhythm parts in the song as well. So, you know, if you're playing the chords, I mean, this is in the key of C. We're going to sort of approach it as from the point of view of one guitar playing the whole thing. So I'm assuming you're in a band, you're the only guitar player. There might be a keyboard player who's probably going to play. In this song, would probably, you know, they generally tend to play the string lines and maybe some other bits and pieces in the song. So for the most part, you're playing the lines and the chords as well. So I'm going to show you, I guess, an arrangement you might call that I use for this song, where you're combining both the chords and the single notes. So the way that I mean, the beginning, the opening riff, the song's in the key of C, and it modulates the key of D. I think it's after the solo. But there's a line at the beginning which is like this. I'll just show it to you. It's and that's just part of the major pentatonic scale. In fact, it's the entire scale, should I say. So it's just the 5 notes. So you're playing a C, D, E, G, A, and C. All right, so you're going from C to C up the octave with this particular line. And then when the chords change to the F chord, the 4 chord of the song, it's the same line, but it's in F. So now you're going to be going there. So that's going to be F, G, A, C, D, and back and up to the F again, up the octave. So I'll just show you the intro itself, and then we'll talk about the song. So it goes. And that's the whole intro there. And then you go into a verse, which will be, he'll go, I got sunshine. And that's the kind of the verse. So you notice there I'm playing the lines and I'm playing also the chords as well. And that's what I was talking about before, where you combine it all together so you maintain some sort of chords and rhythm while you're playing the lines, which I think is going to help just to, you know, drive the song a little bit, I guess. So that part again was just so there's the F chord I'm playing. So I'm playing and there's the C chord. Okay, that's the sort of the root 5 C chord that, you know, I guess most of you guys know. It's just a C, G, C, and E. Just the inside 4 strings we're playing. We're not really using the top and bottom strings of the E's at all. It's just that C chord. And the F, I'm not using the whole F chord. I'm playing the F on the bass for the riff, but the chord itself comes from kind of those notes on the 3 top strings. So it's the F, the C, and the A notes which form part of that F chord. So that's the verse and how I would at least approach it, being like a singular guitar player in the group. And then you've got the, I guess you might call it a pre-chorus, where he goes, I guess you say, what can make me feel this way? So you've just got the chords there. There's no single lines in that section there. And the chords are just going to be, again, we're using, as I've mentioned in the last video, we're only using notes from the top 3 strings just to get that nice stabby sort of effect that you often hear with this sort of style. So the chords I'm playing is a little C triad, which is that one. So that's just going to be on the first string, the G, the E, and the C, forming that chord there. And then I'm playing, it goes to a D minor chord. So that's the minor, D minor shape. And again, I'm really only using the A, F, and D notes from that chord. And then we're going to go to the F chord. Now, we're not going to move too far away to play this chord because I mentioned in the last video as well that it's important when you are playing chords to try to keep them as close together sounding as possible. And so we're sort of maintaining that here by playing the F chord. And I guess that's kind of the F that I'm playing here, but I'm really only playing the top 3 strings again, which is going to be the A, the F, and the C, which is that. I guess you could call it as like a D chord shape, like an open D chord shape. So that's the F there. So, and then the G, maybe a couple of options with the G. You could play the G here. So that's part of that. It's really part of that full bar chord, that root 6 bar chord. But I'm only really playing, again, the top 3 strings. So the notes there being G, D, and B, okay? Or the alternative way of playing that is playing the G here, which is that F chord we did before, but just 2 frets up to G. So there we have, from the first string, we have the B note, the G, and the D, forming that little G triad. So they're the chords you would play kind of in the I guess the pre-chorus section, you might call it, the song, where it goes, I guess you say, what can make me feel this way? All right, that's that section there. Then you go, I guess, into the chorus of the song, which is, now here you could play a C or a C major 7. There's definitely notes and lines in that section of the song, possibly even from the vocals, which imply the B note. And I think there's some string instrumentation that might include it as well. So with that, you could either play just a straight C chord there or a C major 7. It's really one of those kind of slightly ambiguous kind of parts of the song where either will work, okay? I personally like to play the major 7. So that's going to be either that C major 7, which is going to be G, E, and B. I hope you can see that. The other alternative for that chord there, you could possibly play it there as well. That's also a C major 7 voicing. So that's going to, I guess it's more like a symmetrical kind of a chord shape, this one. This has B, G, E, and C there. So there you're going, my girl, talking about my girl, my girl. That's the section there, okay? It's a very short kind of a chorus. But that's where you would put those chords. My girl, talking about. So that's a D minor there, that D minor shape we spoke about before. My girl, that's the G. And then there's a little, like a syncopated part, which is that's going from the F, and again there's that little F sort of shape we spoke about before, to the G. You could play it in that position, or alternatively, you could play it the F and the G that we spoke about before in the slightly higher register, which is the. You could play it there as well as part of that syncopated part. Okay, and then it kind of repeats. I believe it goes to another verse there and repeats those sections there, and then you go into a. There's a solo. There's like a string solo in the song. Which is so just the C, hey, 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 hey. E minor. Now we're going to go. So there, and then from there, that's the I guess the cue to bring us into the key of D. So we're effectively, I guess you could call it like a 2-5-1 chord change that brings us into the key of D. The 2 chord being the E minor, which we'll talk about, and then of course you got the A, which is the 5 chord, and that brings us straight into the key of D there. All right, so it's a nice little modulation to bring us in. So that solo section is just that C chord again. F, C, F, that's the D minor chord that we spoke of before. Then the G, and then you've got the E minor, which is really the kind of same chord shape as the C major 7. So it's an inverted E minor chord. Okay, so you've got G, E, B, and then the G is on the bottom. If you're playing those upstrokes, you're probably not going to hear that G, that lower note, anyway. So it's pretty much an E minor kind of a triad there. And then you've got the A, which is just that sort of part of that root 6 A chord, A major. But we are only playing the top 3 strings. So that's the A, the E, and the C sharp. You might include the A in there. It just really depends on taste, I guess. And then we're into the key of D. And so here you can hear the line. There's a very faint guitar line on the recording, which it's got that intro part again, but this time in the key of D. So it's exactly the same lines you're playing, but up 2 frets from where we originally played them. So here you're going. Okay, so that's the line, and again, that's D major pentatonic here. So you've got D, E, F sharp, A, B, and D. So going from D to D on this one here, the octave, and then over the G, which is the 4 chord now in this new key. We're playing the G major pentatonic, which is the. So G, A, B, D, E, and then G again there. Okay, and it's the same kind of arrangement, I guess, with when you're putting those chord stabs in between those as well. So that's going to be. All right, I'll do that again. See that? So you're kind of playing that right throughout the. I guess it's the last part of the song. It's just kind of a chorus outro, and then I believe it goes into a chorus. So that's the pre-chorus chorus, and that's again modulating up 2 frets from our original chord. So that's the D, E minor, G, A, D, E minor, G, and A. That's the pre-chorus section, and then we've got the chorus itself in the new key, which takes us to, as we said earlier, you can play a D or a D major 7. So there's your D major 7 chord there. That's going to be A, F sharp, C sharp, and A. E minor. Okay, it's just a straight sort of E minor triad. B, G, E, and possibly the B on the 4th string. You see. All right. So that's the G there, and then the A. D major 7, E minor. Now here they're playing the diatonic chords of the key of D in a descending fashion. Okay, so here you're playing the A. You could play that, or you could go like that. So these, when I say diatonic chords, these are the chords that belong in the key of D. And they're just straight sort of major and minor chords. So you've got the A, which is considered the 5 chord, the G, which is the 4 chord. Then it introduces us to an F minor, which is that shape there. So F minor is just going to be F sharp minor, I beg your pardon. F sharp, C sharp, A, and F sharp. And then you're going to play the E minor, which we talked about before, as the 2 chord. So you're going 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1, which would be the D, either a D major 7 or just a straight D major there, okay? And you hear that where it goes... Again, you could hear that I was playing the chords as close together as possible, and that's a really, really important thing really to maintain throughout your playing when it comes to chords. You might just finishing off. You might notice that I'm using the back pickup on my Les Paul here. That's because the lines themselves, when you hear the line being played, it's either recorded on to me it sounds like it's a Telly, it's either a Telly, a Jazzmaster, or possibly a Les Paul. I generally play that line with my Les Paul just because of the slightly darker tone. It's the Tellys can be quite bitey. I find when I listen to that, it sounds to be a bit more like a Gibson type of tone. But that's just a personal how I personally hear that. Other guys might hear it differently. So, but nonetheless, whichever guitar you're using, I've used the back pickup because the lines, those sort of are pretty much on a back pickup, irrespective of which guitar you're playing. And that's why I sort of stick to it for the most part in this song. And it tends to work. And I know I mentioned in the last video to use your middle pickup. It works in that song, but I think in this one, because of the lines, I tend to stick to the back pickup. You can flick it up to the middle when you're playing just the chords. Perfectly reasonable and something that is definitely going to work as well. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it helps with your own sort of learning of the song and analysis of it. Feel free to comment below on the video, and I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you on the next one. All right guys, till next time. Bye for now.